USA didn't really take charge. To hit it. Oh, and the goal is celebrated. Oh, that could be a tempting ball in. The US could be in trouble here. And he will find the net. Belgium 4.
Men of the USA may be out of the World Cup in superiorly disappointing fashion, but they are not walking away empty-handed. And nor are the women of soccer.
Women are entitled to half of the U.S. men's national team's earnings from this year's FIFA World Cup. And unsurprisingly, there are a lot of people upset about this and very disingenuous headlines that are made to make you upset about this without understanding what's going on.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. Imagine you're working overtime every weekend. Your coworker hasn't shown up for months. Payday arrives, and your boss walks over.
Good news. We're splitting your bonus with Dave.
Dave wasn't here.
Doesn't matter. Dave gets half.
Congratulations. You just experienced modern equal pay in American soccer. Team USA gets knocked out of the World Cup in the round of 16. Belgium, 4-1. On the pitch, that's a rough Tuesday. Off the pitch is where it gets interesting.
And the United States lead.
The U.S. men's team $16 million payout came from making it into the round of 16, and now they will share that money with the women's team. U.S. soccer splits all winnings among the men and the women as part of an equal pay bargaining agreement. That agreement was meant to fix a pay gap between the two sports.
What? The Foolishness. $16 million in FIFA prize money earned by 26 men who trained, qualified, and bled for a round of 16 finish. And the internet found out exactly how much of it they actually get to keep. Now here's the question nobody seems willing to ask. Imagine it happened the other way around. Imagine the women's team earned $16 million and half of it automatically went to the men's team, who weren't even playing in the tournament. Would the headlines celebrate equality? Or would we suddenly be talking about discrimination, exploitation, and another equal pay lawsuit? Today isn't about picking sides. It's about asking whether our principles stay the same when the people writing the check change.
Doesn't matter. Dave gets half.
And if you want to see more, the Dating Foolishness channel is live. Links in the description. Let's get into it.
Ain't that a man?
Now, U.S. soccer takes about 20% off the top, leaving nearly $13 million. Then that will be split 50-50 among the other teams. Comes out to around $246,000 per player. Now, some debate on the internet over this, if it's fair, since the women obviously didn't play. Others saying with their 4 World Cup wins to men's 0, maybe the women should actually get more.
U.S. soccer takes its 20% off the top, like a mob boss collecting rent. What's left, $12.8 million, gets split right down the middle. Half to the guys who just got their teeth kicked in by Belgium. Half into an account for the women's team who are currently at home doing normal person things, having not kicked a competitive ball since the last time this came up. $246,000 a player. Didn't matter if you played. Didn't matter if you even qualified yet. Now, before you grab your torches.
So yes, if the men were actually good, they would have generated more money for the U.S. Soccer Federation than the women did. But unfortunately for this lawsuit, that's not what happened. The women played better and they generated more revenue for the U.S. Soccer Federation. And despite that, they were still paid less money than the men were. And then your next argument could possibly be that way more people in the U.S. watch men's soccer than women's soccer. And it would be a great argument, except at that point, the highest rated soccer game in the U.S. in the history of soccer airing in the US was in 2015, the FIFA Women's World Cup final, where the US women's national team took their 3rd title. So just to recap, the women were not only bringing more money into the US Soccer Federation, they were also bringing higher ratings, filling more stadiums, had a bigger fan base, and were working much harder to earn less money.
So let's actually do the math on we generated more, we performed better, we deserved more. 2 World Cup titles, a 28-game unbeaten streak, record television rating, years of outperforming the men's team in almost every metric that gets brought up whenever this debate starts. And after all of that, do you know what the grand prize was? $8,108 more per game. Not 8 million, 8,000 across an entire 4-year cycle. After winning 2 World Cups, the total difference comes to about $900,000. Read that sentence again. 2 World Championships, 4 years of dominance. Less than $1 million. That's not a financial revolution. That's loose change with a trophy. Think about what that means. If winning 2 World Cups only moves the needle by $900,000, then performance was never the engine. Okay. Give me a second. Time out. Then, performance was never the engine driving the gap. Performance threw everything it had at the wall and barely left a dent. That's the irony almost nobody talks about. The women's team spent years proving they were the better team. What they accidentally proved is that being the better team isn't what determines where the money comes from. Audiences do. Sponsors do. Television rights do. The man does.
You're right that not everyone has the same skills because the women are better skilled.
Well, the women are better skilled against other women. But if the women played the men, they wouldn't be winning the way that they win.
Another attempt, and that's headed by Fletcher. She took a shot right there. The rebound, and there's a goal. Be ricocheted into the net for the second goal of the game for Sayward FC. This corner is going to be a header in for the third goal of the game. That's headed in by Lawrence Jackson.
We're going to get back in that target score time, so we're going to look to keep the intensity high, get shots on target, and score a goal like that. There we go. High-level players.
In the box, we're going to have a penalty. Whitehill shot, it's saved. Tyler Yates makes the save.
And the man doesn't lie about why. Bigger, stronger, faster. That's not us talking. That's Carly Lloyd, 2-time World Cup champion, confirming her own team's scoreline against a bunch of 15-year-olds. A year later, when the women's team was dropped into the same bracket as actual grown men.
Ready? This message is for Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. 1, you should be here right now with your squad. 2, your team about to go down in North Carolina. Let's go! Let's go! USA! USA!
Here's a turnover. Jarvis, there it is. Game over. Here is the counter again, the step through the shot. Another shot, and there it is. Game over. Sayward FC
is here with the ball at her feet, and she's pressured, and that'll be it. Como 1907 knew the job they had to do coming in here.
12-0. Wrexham defeats the U.S. women.
These women get cooked by the men and the boys. Different here. Almost a different sport. And that gap, the one nobody wants on screen, is a big part of why the audience, the sponsors, and the TV deals size up the way they do. Here's the number nobody's putting on screen because it doesn't fit either side's narrative. The total FIFA prize pool for the entire 2026 Men's World Cup, every team, every match, the whole tournament, is $871 million. The total pool for the last completed Women's World Cup in 2023 was $110 million. That's not a gap. That's a different zip code. Roughly $8 men's dollars for every $1 women's dollar. And that's FIFA's number, not US soccer. Spain won the entire 2023 Women's World Cup. Every match, the trophy, the parade. FIFA cut them a check for $429 million. The US men lost in the round of 16 this year, didn't win a single knockout match, and pulled $16 million. Read that again. A team that got eliminated made almost 4 times more than the team that won the whole thing in the other bracket. That's not US soccer being unfair. That's FIFA's own pricing, and it's been that way for years.
All of the stars bring in far more from their other exploits, their day jobs at club teams, endorsements, and just generally by being famous. Captain America, Christian Pulisic, his contract with Milan reportedly $7 million a year. Some reports say he'll make $20 million this year on endorsements. Now, on average, I thought this was kind of interesting. Soccer players make less than the average NBA player, But on the high end, they make a lot more. Cristiano Ronaldo expected to take in $300 million this year, according to Forbes.
Wow.
The highest NBA player, LeBron James, 146, and worth every penny.
Did you catch what he just said? The World Cup bonus isn't even where the biggest stars make their money. Did you notice what all those names have in common? Pulisic, Ronaldo, LeBron. Nobody handed them those numbers. They earned something far more valuable than a contract. They earned demand, and demand is a brutal thing. It doesn't care about fairness. It doesn't care about equality. It doesn't care how hard you trained. It simply asks one question: will people pay to watch? Everything else comes afterwards. And that's exactly where this story gets interesting.
Dave?
Yeah?
Good news.
Did we fix the bonus system?
No.
Did we increase the revenue?
No.
Then why am I getting paid?
Because accounting says this feels fair.
I'll take it.
So is the 50-50 split actually equal? Here's the twist in the Dave analogy. On paper, splitting everything 50-50 sounds perfectly fair until you ask one uncomfortable question. 50% of what? You just saw the number. 8 men's dollars for every 1 women's dollar. That gap didn't come from a sexist coin flip in a US soccer boardroom. It comes from FIFA's own global commercial machine, and US soccer doesn't control a cent of it. The US women's team looked at that gap and realized something. If they couldn't change how much FIFA paid, they could change what happened after FIFA paid it. 6 years of legal battles, a $24 million settlement, a brand new collective bargaining agreement. That's not a backroom deal. That's what winning a negotiation actually looks like. But winning the negotiation and creating the fairest possible mechanism aren't necessarily the same thing. FIFA's president has repeatedly said he wants pay parity. That's an easy thing to say. It costs him nothing. It's the diplomatically correct answer for the man sitting at the top. What he hasn't answered is the harder question. Does splitting everything 50-50 on top of an 8-to-1 revenue gap actually solve the problem? Or does it simply redistribute the gap while leaving the underlying economics exactly the same?
Is there a memory that stands out to you right now in this moment?
I mean, probably equal pay chance after the final.
Dave's been paid before too. Here's the part that gets left out of almost every rage bait version of this story. In 2023, the women earned $1.87 million on their own merit for reaching the round of 16. Under this exact same agreement, that prize money was pooled. Their final payout climbed to almost $6 million. That happened first, 3 years before today's headline. So Dave has shown up before. This exact arrangement already paid out in favor of the women's team long before it paid out in favor of the men's team. Nobody got robbed here. The women fought for this agreement in court, won the negotiation, and got exactly what they asked for. The men signed it too. So this isn't a story about theft. It's a story about economics. Because the uncomfortable truth never changed. The Men's World Cup generates dramatically more money because dramatically more people choose to watch it. Not because FIFA says so, not because US soccer says so, because millions of people vote with their wallets every 4 years. That's how markets work. The irony is that the equal pay debate was never really about making the women's game generate more value. It became about redistributing the value the men's game had already created. And those are two completely different conversations. If you want equal prize money, you have two options: grow the pie or divide somebody else's slice. This agreement chose the second option. Whether you think that's fair is up to you, but let's at least call it what it is. Not equal revenue, not equal demand, not equal commercial value, equal redistribution. That's a completely different word. Listen to all, follow none.
Management, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.